right, today we're going to have a look at this MYFORD. This is a nice compact cylindrical grinder. This is fully automatic, meaning it has a rapid approach to your workpiece, and it has a grinding program where it will plunge grind down to a point where you can go into actually a fine feed, and then you will have a spark out time, and then the wheel will retract on its own and go back. Your stock removal amount will be reset. Your work head will be shut off, and you'll be ready for your next part. Also, they have a traverse grinding program or longitudinal grinding program or cycle, where you have the table going left and right, and each time you reverse, you'll feed in. And you can adjust on the control box here if you want to feed in on both sides or just the one side. And you have a spark out light when you do reach the end of the cycle. When you're down to zero, this light will glow orange, and you've got an adjustment here for the time. The top here, you've got a selector for different modes. The hand means manual, and you have traverse grinding, and you also have plunge grinding. Over here you have a potentiometer or a variable speed knob for the speed of the work head. This is turning on and off the hydraulics, your grinding spindle, the work head, and coolant. So the way this works in the automatic cycle is you've got a mechanism in the rear of the machine that you adjust for the amount of stock removal you want. This can take off about 50 thousandths in the full cycle. If you were only taking off 10 or 12, you could adjust it so you don't have so much air grinding, to bring the cycle a quicker cycle time. Anyway, so you got your tailstock, you have your work head, you have a coolant system on the side, your hydraulic tank, and your operator's box there. This is currently wired for 440 volts. So it's got a lot of knobs and stuff on here. It can be worked manually, completely manual, which is what I'm going to show you first. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and this will be starting up the hydraulics. If I have the wheel on, that'll come on with it. So we have the grinding wheel on and the hydraulics on. And in the manual setup, one of the ways you could have this machine work, if you have the selector switches the right way, is operating with just this. This will bring the slide forward, and it'll start and stop your work head. That's like a hand feed or a manual type grinding cycle. Now you could also get your table going by turning this on. Your infeed you'd have to do by hand. You could pull this out and you could rotate this, push it in and come down, or you could push the pin to the back and you could actually go around. So that would be a manual way of using it. The speed of this table is adjusted here. And if you wanted to have a dwell or a tarry at each side, you can adjust that here. When we want to do an automatic cycle, you have to change some of the settings on the grinder. Excuse me. Over here, this would be a traverse grind, and this one would be a plunge grind. So we'll put it in plunge grind because it's the quickest for the video. This knob here we want to put up into the automatic, and this here. Now what happens now is your feed cylinder goes back to its retracted position. You've got these dials up here, or these pointers, that show you the movement. When this thing is feeding, you're not going to see the hand wheel feeding. You're actually going to only see these pointers feeding. So you want to make sure you set this switch on the side here, the up position, and when you go forward, again, we start the work head, we bring this in. Only now, if you would over here, would be able to see this, you see these pointers moving. And it gets down to the fine feed. And then when we get to zero, you'll see that the spark out light has come on. We'll show you this a couple of times. But right now we're at zero. Now the cycle is over. Your infeed is being reset right there. The wheel head's gone back. and we'll do this again. Well, the slide's going to come in, the workhead comes on. Now we start the feed. Now I can adjust that feed rate. I can slow that down or speed it up, make it fast just for the video. This knob adjusts your second pointer. The second pointer is where your fine feed is going to start, which was right there. Now you feed slower until you get to 0. When you get to 0, your spark out light comes on. You're no longer feeding. You're up against a dead stop. Cycle is over. The slide goes back, and this resets itself. Now, if you wanted to throw the table into that, this has to be put up into the automatic position again. These little mushroom knobs lock in, so you can't move that. But now, when we start it, we're going to have our slide come in, and obviously, you don't want to hit the part. You want to come in as close as you can. And now, with each reversal, we feed, except the guy doing the video didn't put that switch on the right setting. This is a mistake you're going to make. We'll do that again. So now I've set the selector switch off of the plunge setting and put it on the traverse setting. Now my infeed is not continuous, but it's intermittent depending on hitting this stop and hitting this stop. So now you'll see that the pointer only moves forward a little bit at a time. And those are basically tenths. This cycle will take a bit longer, so we're not going to go through the whole thing, but basically that's the whole machine. It's a really nice condition. I hope you liked the video. Thank you.